Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the CBL X's and O's podcast. We are sitting down with Reese handwriting today, and it's round 6 preview time for the Gippsland Conference, Reese. And, we've got 10 games, I think, this round, so a bit of a smaller round in Gippsland. And the fixtures, a lot of the top of the ladder teams versus, bottom of the ladder teams. So there's, it'll be interesting. Hopefully we get some upsets.
Yeah, a few teams are really hoping for those upsets in terms of where everyone is on the ladder, especially those chasing that top four. It's going to be an interesting round and see if teams can really solidify their spot or they drop a game and make it all interesting.
Now let's kick it off with the men, and we've got the Traralgon T-Birds travelling down to Sale to take on the Young Sonics. Traralgon have coming off 2 weeks off games, having a break. They better get the legs rolling, otherwise the Young Sonics might run over the top of them here.
Yeah, well, look, past 2 seasons, whenever with Sale and Traralgon have played, hasn't really been in the favour of the Sonics, especially in a lot of brutal beatings, especially the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, if Traralgon are not really in that mindset of really trying to win games or anything like that, then the Sonics may be able to provide a bit of an upset here and really start to put a dagger in Traralgon's season. Really important game for the T-Birds to really get this win this weekend.
And Morwell are travelling down the highway to take on Warragul. Now, if you look back at history, these two teams have had some big rivalries, especially through, I think it was the thousands, where these guys played off against each other in multiple grand finals. So this is pretty much a rivalry game, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of history behind it all. There's always a high level of respect between both teams. And look, it could go either. Warragul really probably need this win, to really stay in touch of where they are. But the way Morwell were playing, especially their last weekend, really starting to find points on the scoreboard and everything like that. I don't know. I'm going to say that the Magic get up in this one and look for their second win of the season.
And Sunday, Lakes Entrance are heading over to South Gippsland to take on the Wildcats. And, don't underestimate Lakes Entrance. They travel really well normally. Like, they've got their team together, and it could be an opportunity for them to get their first win for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Cracking game. It's going to be fierce and competitive, very physical, I reckon, as well. It's, I guess, for the Pelicans, it's how do we stop Joel Winderlich, and really calm him and keep him quiet. And for the Wildcats, it's how quiet they can keep Kwani. So it's going to be an interesting battle in that regard. But I do see the Lakes Entrance Pelicans getting their first win, and it's all going to be decided in that last quarter, so I'm backing the Pelicans in this one.
And Sale host their second home game of the weekend when they welcome the in-form Wonthaggi Coasters. Now, the Coasters have only dropped 1 game to their undefeated Meteors last week, but, they should come in here and get the job done against Sale in their second game for the weekend.
Yeah, the Coasters suffered their first loss last week to the hands of Maui, so they're definitely looking to come back onto the winners list very quickly. But Coasters pack a lot of punch, with multiple guys, and for Sale, can't sleep on them either. They're really good. They start to find their rhythm and form, But I just think that the Coasters have a lot too much firepower for the Young Sonics, so I'll say the Coasters get the W here.
And Traralgon are welcoming Pakenham into Gris on Sunday, and this game is 5th versus 6th. It's going to really decide which team is going to be wiped out of the top 4, because whoever gets the head-to-head position here is going to be in front of the other. And, especially for Traralgon, if they drop this one, they're pretty much gone.
Yeah, essentially Traralgon can't really lose any games from here on out. And Pagan knocking on that door. They want to get in, they want to see that success. So it's going to be a tough matchup. But I am going to back in the T-Birds here and to get it done. But it won't come easy.
And let's have a look at the women. And we've got, again, Traralgon traveling down to Sale to take on the Sonics. And it's the same thing as the men. Traralgon have had 2 rounds off. They need to really make sure they get back into the groove. Otherwise, the Sonics potentially will walk away with the W, and it could have a big effect on Traralgon's season.
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting in that regard, but I definitely think the T-Birds are, a much better team talent-wise. But, with that being said, the Sonics are young and hungry and really trying to, get these wins later in the season. So it'll be interesting, but I'm definitely going with the Lady T-Birds here to get it done.
And 7th place Warrigal Warriors take on Morwell, who are sitting in 9th. Can Morwell continue that winning form and get their 2nd win of the season?
Well, look, with the inconsistency of Warrigal's play at the moment, it can be really up in the air. It's one of those things. Morwell got their first taste of success last round, and I think they're going to probably look to do that again. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but I am backing the Lady Magic to get their 2nd win.
And Canberra hosting Lakes Entrance. It's unfortunately top of the ladder versus bottom of the ladder. I think it's going to be a tough road trip for the Pelicans this week.
Yeah, it will be. Very tough, especially after last weekend for them. Looking for that extra motivation push to get through the rest of the season, try and find their win. I just don't think it's going to be at Canberra this time. But I definitely feel that the Wildcats will be too powerful for the Pelicans, and Canberra will get the W.
And Wonthaggi travel to Sale, and they will be looking to continue their winning streak, which is, slowly stretching longer and longer now. They've only had the 1 defeat for the season, but they should be able to account for the Sale Sonics this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough weekend for the Sonics. They're playing Traralgon and Wonthaggi both in the top 4 currently. Rough weekend in that regard. But, with that being said, they will put up a great fight. But, I think it's another game where, the firepower is just going to be an issue for them and, potentially. And, I'm backing the Coasters in to get the W and continue their strong season.
And similar to the men's game, we've got Traralgon taking on Packer. This is game of the round in the women. 2nd versus 4th. This is probably really going to decide a head-to-head position. And potentially we're talking the difference between finishing 2nd and 3rd, which is a home final or an away final. So this is going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, really, this game sets up who's in the top 4. Really stays in that regard. And like you said, the head-to-head, plays a crucial part, especially of how tight, the ladder is right now. If I'm Moe, I'm licking your lips right now and really hoping a few teams drop a few games here to keep in touch. But yeah, definitely a very important game for both. Really important for Pakenham. If they probably drop this one, I think that could be, their season ending. Potentially there. But with that being said, they're in great form. They've got some great players. Same with Traralgon. Going to come down to the wire. I reckon that it's going to be an OT finish. In my prediction. But I do have Pakenham Warriors getting up in this occasion.
And that's it. That's our round 6 preview for the Gippsland Conference. Now, just wanted to shout out, Reese, that earlier today the grand final location was announced, and we're heading to Pakenham for the grand final. Now, what a stadium to host the grand final in Gippsland. It's going to be probably a sellout there.
just I've been, in Pakenham stadiums when there were grand finals for their Big V, and even just their normal regular season games, and they know how to really pack out a stadium, and the support down that way, for basketball is really growing, and it's very passionate as well. A lot of very passionate people. It's a great venue as well. It's a great setup. I rate it. And yeah, no, congratulations to Pakenham getting the rights there, and hopefully they can see if hopefully a team or so in that on that night, to make it even more worthwhile. But really great location, Matt. It's a really great location for it.
That's it. Congratulations to the Pakenham Association. I'm sure they're going to put on a wonderful show for what will be grand final night. And you know what, Reese? It's only 5 weeks away. We're not far from it. We've got 3 rounds of basketball to go and 1 week of semifinals, and then we're touching the grand final. So looking forward to seeing our stands full this weekend for round 6 in the Gippsland Conference. It's going to be a cracker. Good luck to teams this weekend, and we'll see you next week.